Good evening, everybody. This is Christina, and I'm here with Ava, and she
Hi there.
has her conversation for tonight. And I'll go ahead and let her share what her conversation is.
Hi there. So my name's Ava, and since it's National Guide Dog Month or any type of month that involves like any service dogs, I decided to go ahead and find people who would be interested in joining for the event. So I relied on social media and I found these people through TikTok and can't wait for you guys to hear what they have to say. And Aspen, hi there.
Hi, I'm Aspen, and Tundra is my service dog. He's a seizure alert and mobility assistance dog, and he's just sitting there. Trying to get him to come over here.
If you want us to see him, you have to just take away your blur that you have on your background too, because it's kind of tough. Unless he gets like right there next to you.
Oh,
Oh,
the
look
dog
at
so cute.
He's thoroughly unamused.
How old is your dog?
He just turned 5 in June.
Oh, that's so cute. Does he have any favorite treats? Kind of off topic, but
Everything. He'll eat anything. He's a lab, so he'll eat anything that's edible.
oh, that's cute. I have a dog too. She's a Labrador Retriever. Her name's Molly, and I don't know how old she is because we got her from someone previously, but she also likes to eat treats and sleep a lot, also play
Yeah.
around, go outside. So, where are you from?
I'm from Oregon, specifically the Oregon coast, but then I just moved inland towards Portland 6 months ago.
Okay, okay, that's cool.
Yeah.
So, how's it been like?
Um, it's been very quiet.
Oh,
There's
very
not much
quiet.
to do out here. So
That's
it's
how
just
it
kind of
is over here too.
yeah, it's just kind of like going to the grocery store, and I haven't even found like a field or something that Tundra could go play in. And right now the Columbia River has the blue green algae, so I can't even take him
Oh
swimming.
yeah,
We've
gotta be
just kind of
careful.
been moseying around.
Okay, so do you prefer like a quiet area or like a louder area environment, would you say?
um, I prefer a mixture, a healthy mix of the two, because like Portland, I could never live in Portland. It's way too busy for me. But also like the rural, like way out in the country, I also don't want to do that either.
Yeah, so I think it's always a good mix to be in an environment where it's like kind of both, but also loud and quiet, it's not too bad. Some people prefer one or the other.
Yes.
Not too bad. So let's get straight into the questions I have for you.
Okay.
Okay, so question number one, what are some common misconceptions about service dogs that you would like to address?
Um, Off the top of my head, and this is lab specific, but I've noticed that people see labs and they think immediately seizure alert, even if they're not labeled as seizure alert. I've noticed that with my friend group, and even with him and my previous service dog, he very specifically gets like, oh, that's a seizure alert dog, even though I don't have him labeled all the time as a seizure alert.
Oh,
And similarly, I found that when the dogs are in their mobility harness, people immediately assume that they're a guide dog. So that was interesting that I've noticed.
hmm. That is interesting. Question. I know there's a rule about petting the service dogs. What's that been like?
So the general rule is you don't pet a service dog. However, I let people pet my service dog as long as it's a controlled environment, like not just like out and about, but like if I'm sitting there and a kid comes up and I'm not doing anything or I'm feeling fine and they're like, hey, can I pet your dog? I'm like, yeah, go for it. And I find that this is a great opportunity to educate on service dogs and explain like, good job for asking, this is why we ask, and things like that.
Yeah, of course, especially when people come up to you and your dog, especially when they ask like respectful questions. Some people don't know much about like service dogs and specific what they
Yes.
do. So I think that it's pretty nice of those people to be respectful and to ask like, curiosity, like, hey, so,
Yeah.
this and that.
Exactly. Like I'm totally I love the curiosity. I love to educate the public because unfortunately there's not any education on service animals. It's just kind of like what you learn online or what you learn from people who have service animals.
Yeah, I've also noticed that people tend to make assumptions.
Yes.
And I personally feel that it's not always good to make assumptions because you don't want to think you're correct, but it's also best to, like you said, be educated. And I think there should be like more programs that like allows people to be educated by those who have service dogs to
I
explain more
agree.
about like what they do.
Yes, I agree.
But yeah, so question number two. What has having Tundra impacted your daily life been?
It's been a huge positive impact in my life. Not only for the seizure alert, it gives me a sense of security that I know that I'm going to be safe. There was an incident where last year where I had a seizure, and he alerted to the seizure, and I was able to go get friends. Well, during the seizure, I stopped breathing and died. So without Tundra's alert, I wouldn't have been able to go get my friends and let them know that I'm going to have a seizure. So he has he's like this big safety net for me that like I know
Oh,
I'm gonna be okay with him. And also his mobility tasks are fantastic. He does retrievals, and it really helps when I have POTS, so like I can't bend down and things like that without getting sick. So he'll pick things up for me and just bridge that or build that bridge.
oh, so Tandra's been like a very big help for you, which is so
Oh
amazing.
yes, huge help.
Can I just ask how long you've had Tundra for?
I've had him since he was 8 weeks old.
Oh,
Yes.
okay. Very cool. All
Aw.
right.
So next question, you might have answered this a little bit, but if you want to be like more like descriptive, it's fine. So number three on the question, what kind of task does Tanja perform for you?
So he performs seizure alert, and he performs retrievals. He also has a task called forward momentum pulling, and that's where it's similar to guide dogs, but they're pulling more into their harness, not like super pulling, but just enough to give that momentum to help me continue like walking and stay balanced.
That's good. That's good. So
Yes.
that way you're on your feet and you're not like, knocking into things. You have your
Exactly.
dog by your side, so that way they can alert you where like there's objects in the way. So when it comes to like for example, if you're walking into like a public area and there's a pole, does Tundra like guide you to like the left or right so you don't like knock into it or
He doesn't guide in a left or like he doesn't choose it just or let me get my words together. So he'll guide around it, but it's not specifically trained. So because he's not a guide dog, and I can see, and therefore I can guide him to how
Mhm.
to go around it, or in scenarios like that. But he has learned through me guiding him how to go around certain things.
And I can imagine the whole pulling would be sometimes if you ever go to a theme park, I think we can all maybe relate in this sense that we get really done and tired, and sometimes we just need someone to pull us along to keep going.
Yes.
That's
And
exactly how
and
it
it's kind of
feels.
like, yeah, because if you're feeling, sometimes you might be feeling lightheaded or you might be feeling this way or that way, and it's just like if I can just keep going, it helps.
Yep.
So I can imagine it's kind of like that feeling. That's what I was
Yes,
going with.
that's exactly how
Yeah.
I would describe it.
Yeah. So do you have seizures often?
No,
Or
so I used to, but we
okay.
finally found a good combination of medications, and this month I'll be 8 months seizure free. So it's
Hey,
pretty
Awesome.
awesome.
Very good.
Yes.
that's some really good news right there.
Yes, it is.
Alrighty, question number four. How do you and Tandra communicate and work together effectively?
Um, I don't know how I use a lot of words, obviously, like cues for how we communicate. But when it comes to like training, I I make sure that he's having fun in a way that he wants to engage with me in order to do these, like whatever I'm asking of him. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that makes sense. So
Okay.
for example, when you like say words to your dog, do you say it in like a more like positive, energized way so that way it kind of gets them like excited?
So sometimes, yes, I do. If I'm like trying to really like get him excited about something, then I'll use his cues or his markers really excitedly. But then there's other times where maybe he's too excited, and so I want to keep my tone kind of just neutral. That way I'm not adding to the excitement or anything like that.
Yeah. So when he gets like okay, let me rephrase this question. Has there been a time where like he's gotten like way too excited and like you're trying to just like calm him down, but he wasn't like trying to be chill, or has it ever gotten to that point?
So there was a point where he did get so excited that like I was trying to get him calmed down, and then we eventually left. He has not been working since April, and so last month I took him out, and there was another service dog in public, and he just got so excited,
Oh.
and like I was trying to redirect him, but he was just so excited. I was like, you know what? Let's just go outside, and so I took him
Yeah.
outside.
So does he like to make other okay, let me rephrase this question again. Sorry.
Oh, you're
So
good.
is he like a type of dog where he likes to make friends with other dogs and
Yes.
play with them? Okay,
Yes,
that's
he
nice.
likes friends.
Very off topic on this one. Does he have a favorite toy he likes to play with?
Yes, he has these, they're called lamb chops, but they're just lambs. Tundra, Lammy, get Lammy, bring it here, bring Lammy. Of course, he's not going to do it.
I was gonna say, of course he's not
He
gonna
has
do it
these,
now.
it's just like a giant stuffed lamb that he just loves them. I mean, we have three big ones and then like four little ones. We collect them.
Oh.
Awesome. Bring it here. You're gonna bring yourself here.
Okay. Oh, did he bring the toy or?
No, he didn't.
Oh, I
He's
was
still
like,
not.
wait, is the toy coming on?
No, he brought
So
himself over.
so
That's even
I
better.
have another question I could throw in there, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Have you where have you traveled with him to? Have you been on a plane and
Oh
traveled all
yes,
over?
he's taken 12 flights with me to Montana and back. And then we've taken trains to Montana and back. And then I think that's it. Buses, we've taken the Max. I think we've taken every form of transportation, but he loves flying. I do know he loves flying.
When he flies, does he have his own seat or does he sit
So he
under?
sits at the floor
Okay.
at my feet and he curls up into a little ball. But sometimes like we will have the whole row and then I'll let him, stretch out. But if it's just like three of us in that seat, then he'll just curl up in a little ball right at my feet.
Awesome. Because I've seen that some airports have areas for guide dogs
Yes,
to
the pet
for
relief
service dogs,
stations.
pet relief stations and things like that where they can go to that you have to, for pet relief or even for food and drink or whatever it is. Or I think
Yeah.
they don't eat or drink or something. Somebody said something like they
Um,
withhold some of that too for I don't know.
Yes.
But yeah, but they have those pet relief and I was like, wow, that's kind of interesting that there's all that set up for that. Very
yeah.
cool.
I've also seen in videos with like service dogs when they like are on the plane, they like you said, they sit right near you. But
Mhm.
then I seen that on planes they give you like a bigger space area. I'm not sure if that's true. So that way you
Sometimes, yes.
okay, okay, got it. I've seen that they do it so that way both of you guys have like a lot of space to be comfortable, not too cramped.
Yes. It's called bulkhead seating. But sometimes we just don't get it and then it's fine.
So another question I would have, actually, we had a girl in our homeschooling co-op that was diabetic, and so they ended up getting her a service dog to help alert for her lows and stuff. But we did a lot of fundraising to help her because I think that service dog was like $5,000 or $8,000 or something like that. So we had as a homeschooling group, we came together and did some bake sales and some fundraising things. Did you guys have to work on anything like that? Did you or your parents like have to work on any kind of fundraising things to be able to get your service dog?
So no. So I had my previous service dog was just a mixed breed. And then like I was very inexperienced training her. And then she had to retire early, but I had like it was just the right timing. I had an opportunity to get a puppy from a my breeder that I had known for some time. And then I just got him like that. I think he was like 1,500. And then we just made payments because it
Right.
was just me. My mom
And
didn't.
then were you able to train him yourself somewhat?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
very good. Because I know
Yeah.
that they
Very
had that their
impressive
dog.
too, actually.
Yeah,
Yes.
their dog
Long
was specifically
time.
trained. So I know that their dog was specifically trained for her, like by somebody else to
Yes.
alert for the lows, the diabetic lows and stuff like that. So it was a quite interesting thing when when I saw that.
Very, very interesting.
And I know some people can really benefit from service dogs, but then sometimes there's a cost that they can't afford, and so
Yeah.
that's why we helped like fundraise. But that was very cool that you were actually able to train him yourself too.
Yeah.
And I think that's also special for the both of you. So that's very cool.
Yeah, that's why I don't know that I'd ever get a program dog because I like the bond of raising him and training him in our own way rather than a program who has specific like
Right,
what rules and things like that.
Yeah,
And
right,
also
yeah,
program dogs can be anywhere from $10,000 to $60,000.
yeah.
Um,
That's what I've heard. Yeah,
very pricey.
yes, they are.
But yeah, I feel that since you were able to train your own dog, it like the dog knows like your personal commands rather than having a dog from a program. And I feel that if you get a dog from a program, I'm not too sure on this. It's probably kind of more difficult for them to adjust to your requirements of what you need.
Mhm.
Rather than, training your own dog. They're like built into knowing like what you need, what you are able to do, and
Yeah.
what they should do, not do. Number 5. How do you ensure Tundra stays healthy and happy?
Um, be very protective of him. um, I'd be very watchful of his body because he does not show pain very much. Matter of fact, he has a double ear infection, and I didn't know until I just happened to flip over his ear and find it because he doesn't show signs of pain or injury. Um, I keep him on supplements, things like that. Like he gets fish oil, kefir, and a variety of other things in his meals. Um, I also am very picky about the dogs that he's around. Unfortunately, he has been attacked.
Oh,
So I'm very, very picky on what dogs are allowed near him, and that way he's protected.
that's good. Definitely don't want to surround a dog with the wrong type of dogs. So just for the dog to be protected, so they're not like insured in danger too much of.
Yes.
Oh, someone has a question in the chat. Someone asked, what happens to the service dog when they are retired?
So it depends on the person, the program. Some keep them. I fully intend on keeping Tundra. Some of them have to rehome them just because they are in a situation where they have two dogs and they need another service dog. So sometimes they rehome them, and that's perfectly okay. And I know with program dogs, they typically take the dog back and give them to the puppy raisers if the puppy raisers want them to.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
very interesting.
And one final last question. What advice would you give to someone who is considering getting a service dog?
Talk to as many service dog handlers as you can because there are going to be so many different experiences that you're going to experience. There's a lot that goes into just working a service dog, maintaining them, and you have to learn all the ADA, all those laws. You have to learn your city and state laws. Some require that service dogs don't have to be licensed. Some require that they do. So it's you have to do a lot of research, and service dogs are not for everybody, especially for those who have anxiety, because you're gonna get looks and stares, and you're gonna get approached from people in public, and people are going to talk to your dog, and people are going to try and pet your dog and come up to you, and it can be a lot for some people, and for some people it's not possible. So do as much research as you can.
Definitely. And I noticed that a lot of people tend to have like social anxiety, and
Yes,
when having a service dog, it can like overwhelm them with the looks they get. So it's definitely important that they don't feel that social anxiety as too much and that they feel protected and safe.
exactly.
But yeah,
One
okay.
of
So
one of when I homeschooled a couple years ago in South Carolina, one of Marina's teachers that we met up with, because I forget what curriculum we were using, but they had some teachers. She had us go on a field trip, and she had a little service dog, and it was her hearing dog because she was hard of hearing, and it was just so very interesting and it was for when she was driving because she was hard of hearing, and so she cannot hear people honk, and she couldn't hear sirens, and she couldn't hear some things in so this dog would alert
Yeah.
her when there was a loud noise so that she could look around because she couldn't hear all that stuff.
Yeah.
I thought it was quite interesting,
Yes,
that
hearing dogs are very cool.
yeah, yeah. Okay, go ahead, Ava. I know we're gonna talk to Addie, right?
yes, and that was all the questions I had for you. It was really nice having you on. If you would like to stay for the entire event, that's up to you. But I really
Absolutely.
do appreciate you having the time to talk about you and Tandra and what life has been like, etc. Really
Of
did
course.
appreciate.
Happy to help you guys.
Thank you so much. Okay, now next up is Addie.
Hi,
Hi there. So where are you from?
I'm from Ohio.
That's cool. How's the weather been like in Ohio? Is it like kind of cold most of the time or
Eh, recently it's been a little colder, but on Monday the temperature will ramp up.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Especially for like my state, since I'm from New Jersey, the weather I would like to call it is very bipolar, meaning like it would be cold one day or hot. And then since now we're entering fall, it's gonna like start dropping, and then some days like the temperature kind of gets warmer. Very, very weird.
Hmm.
I'll tell you, the mornings are really nice here right now in Georgia. It's
Oh,
like in the
that's nice.
60s. It's in the
I
60s, 70s
wish.
in the mornings, and then it goes up to like 80, mid 80s during the day. So it's quite nice.
That is nice. How's the weather like in the morning for you guys in Ohio?
Recently it's been kind of cold, especially with the wind chill.
Ah, got you. Yeah, I feel like in the morning, like the weather can be kind of like weird, and then by the afternoon, kind of just chills down, and then nighttime just like back to cold.
Hmm. Same here.
Okay, now starting with the questions that I will ask the same to you. So, number one, what are some common misconceptions about service dogs that you've noticed that you would like to address to people that don't know?
Well, it kind of relates to the second. Basically, people think they can pet the dog, but I also agree that they can't really pet the dog. It really just depends on like the handler and the situation they're in.
Yeah, that's very understandable. Another question, how long have you had your service dog for?
So I was just in training for 3 weeks, but I've had her home for 2 weeks.
Okay, so how's it been like, having your dog around?
She's pretty well made. She's made an impact already
That's so good.
because she's helped me like watch where I'm going a little bit and keep me on the sidewalk.
That's good. So she's like your little helper, and then also, would you consider like your dog your best friend?
Yes, when she's in harness, it's a little harder, but she definitely is out of the harness.
So, question for you: is this your first service dog, Addie?
Yes.
Awesome.
Oh, it is. Question about that. So with your service dog, were you able to like have them adjust to your commands easy, or has it been kind of complex at first?
It's actually been pretty easy because we also work on obedience to try to get their attention on you, which also helps.
Okay, that's good. Any type of treats your dog likes to eat, or any type of food?
She's been eating like Charlie bears, like
Oh,
during training.
what's a Charlie Bear, if you don't mind me asking?
It almost looks like an oyster cracker.
Oh, an oyster cracker.
Nice little treats to get, right? Yes.
Mhm. For us, they have to be under, well, under 3 calories, but if you can't find anything, under 5.
Oh, okay. Got you.
So
What kind of,
I have a
sorry.
question though. Both of you guys have labs. I have a lab. She just turned 2, and
Oh,
she was a terror the first year, and she ate everything.
oh my
So,
goodness.
like, how and we her mom did stuff. I mean, and she's the little Houdini. She can get in and out of things. So how did I mean, I get it's everybody's personality, right? So, but like today, I put my socks on the table over here with my phone, and I was getting ready to leave. And I was running around doing some things, and I come back and my socks were gone. And I went, oh, she took them outside. And sure
Mm,
enough, she grabbed my
that
socks
dog.
and she grabbed them outside. And it was just like, she's 2. Is she ever going to outgrow this? So,
Hunter is notorious for stealing, and he's 5, so I don't know that they grow out of it.
Probably not for a little bit.
Yeah,
keep thinking,
probably
like,
not.
I keep thinking she'll grow out of this at some point.
Who knows? Some dogs keep their habits and they tend to grow out of it like later on in life. So you'll probably experience that for like a couple more years, maybe.
I just thought I was curious.
Uh, Dogs can be dogs, and of course, dogs have like different personalities. So, how would you describe your dog's personality?
I love her. And she's a licker.
Oh,
Oh, you want to play?
Not right now.
And her name's Ollie.
oh, Ollie. Okay, I like that name,
But
Ollie.
I also have a dog named Molly.
Stop! My dog's name is also Ollie.
Yeah.
And so, do you have one service dog and one
One service
non-service dog?
dog and one pet. I
And
was
one pet.
actually scared of dogs before I got my pet. So
Mm-hmm.
she has helped me kind of get over my fear.
And so, what made you guys decide to get a service dog, Addie?
Well, I got mine from Leader Dog, and I figured if my vision ever gets worse, it would kind of be good for me to get used to one now.
Ah, good.
Okay, that is good. That is good. You were able to like overcome your fear of dogs. So now you feel comfortable being around a dog, especially your own personal dog, so you don't feel afraid.
Hmm.
So next question, how do you and Ollie communicate and work together effectively?
So she communicates through the harness, but I communicate through the leash. And if she's like doing something like eating food off the ground, which
Oh,
she isn't supposed to be doing in the first place,
mm-mm.
I say no, straight, and use the hand motion. But if she continues, I do a little leash jiggle and then say straight, or like a timeout, or even just a quick leash correction, which should help get her back on track.
Discipline is definitely a big thing for guide dogs, especially with any type of service dog. So that way they know what they can't be doing. And I noticed a lot of dogs, they tend to have their little phase where they tend to do stuff that they're not supposed to be doing.
Mm-hmm.
My dog does that too. She likes to take food out the trash. So if the trash is like full and someone's like just about to take it out, she would like get in there and try to take food, and we're just like, Molly, you can't do that.
Yeah. All right. So I have a question. So Addie, you haven't traveled really with your service dog yet, right?
I've
Like,
traveled from Michigan back to Ohio, but that's about it.
okay. Well, I was gonna say, Aspen, do you have any tips at all for Addie on like traveling? Like she goes Michigan to Ohio. I don't know, is that by car or plane or train? Like, are
I
they
did it by car because it's
okay?
supposedly a little less stressful for both of us.
Right. I
But
was just curious if you had any, because I mean, if you said that Tundra's been on like 12 flights, I figured, do you have any advice for Addie on flights or travel?
Um, advocate for yourself. Don't let them push you around. If you say
yeah.
no, I need something, like if you say no, I need this space for here, make them do it. Don't let them push you around. Another thing is there's going to be a lot of people when you fly, a lot of pets, because pets are allowed on the plane in certain scenarios. Um, what else? Off the top of my head, that's it.
All right, cool. I was just curious. So, what do you guys think of? I know you guys have both have service dogs. So, what do you think of the people that have the emotional support pets?
I think they're great. I think emotional support pets are necessary and they have a good job. It's just when people misuse that label, that's when it becomes problematic. Because I agree that they'd have housing accommodations because that's where emotional support animals do most of their work is, at home. So housing accommodations and what's the other one? They're not allowed on flights anymore.
Oh, emotional support animals aren't?
Yeah, they
Oh,
they
really?
changed the laws. Yeah, and they actually made it harder for psychiatric service dogs to fly on a plane compared to, like, say, a seizure alert dog or a mobility assistance dog. So they did recently change the laws, and I think that was like a year ago or maybe 2 years ago.
Wow. So I had a foster parent, I had a foster child in my home, and her mother had three emotional support dachshunds. And they were her emotional support animals. And so they had their little vests and they were at everything that we all went and did. And so it was just kind of interesting having these little dachshunds going around. And I mean, I get that they do help because I mean, DSS is quite stressful. So
So were
um,
they going out like in grocery stores and things like
no,
that?
no, she just came to
I
all the
was
visits. They came to all the
Okay.
visits and all the different the visits that because I wasn't at a store with her, but
Yeah.
they traveled with her in the car and they traveled like to the DSS visits and things like that. And it was quite
Yeah,
interesting getting used to.
I was gonna ask about that because technically they legally they only have rights under the Fair Housing Act now because of the non-air carrier thing. But I was gonna ask you if they went to grocery stores because legally they're not allowed to do that. When you said they went everywhere, I'm like,
I know. I was like,
oh,
wait a minute.
So yeah,
huh?
so explain some of the differences because you guys were telling some of the differences. So like service dogs are legally allowed to go everywhere, correct?
Do you want to do that, Alyssa?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't have a service dog, but I've read the ADA website forward, backwards, inside and out. And
Okay.
correct me if I do anything wrong because I don't. Service dogs they're specially trained for public access scenarios, which is why it is. How many hours is it of public access training? Is there a specific hour amount for that
Nope,
or no?
there's no specific
Okay.
hours.
All right. Emotional support animals don't have public access rights because they are not trained. They don't have specific tasks that they perform. Service animals are task trained to provide help to their handler who has a disability. I don't remember the exact wording for disability, but it has to impair one or more daily life skills, right?
Gotcha. You're right. Yes,
Yeah.
it would probably there'd be a definition for it. Yeah.
If you want to look it up on the ada.gov website.
I wanna add in here. The main difference between emotional support animals and service dogs are that emotional support animals are meant for one person, and
Mhm.
service animals are task trained for one person. And then
And
therapy dogs are
I was
everyone.
gonna, yeah, I was just gonna say that.
You got me.
Very cool. All right. Sorry, Ava, I had a sideline on that for a question. Go ahead. Did you have, I think another question or two for Addie?
Let's see. What other questions do I have? Oh, does your dog, well, this kind of goes for the both of you guys, if you don't mind me asking. Does your dog tend to do like any cool tricks or anything like that? Or
Addie, I'll let you go first.
So it's already rained here. So when I take her out, her paws get muddy. So what I do is I put her in a sit position and I tell her to give me paw, and then I just wipe them down. I'm very thankful for that because with my other dog, well, they say her mom rolled onto her leg or something. So
Oh,
it's really hard to clean her paws.
mm-hmm.
But with the paw command with Ollie, it really helps me like clean them better.
That's nice. I wish my dog knew how to give paw because sometimes whenever it rains over here, especially her paws would get dirty and especially stepping in the mud. I wish that she would just be able to, hold up her little paw, but no, I have to forcefully do it to wipe everything off her.
very cool.
Similarly to Addie, Tundra has a shake command instead of using shake like the paw.
Yeah.
It's him shaking off. So for the rain, when we go out, I can hold up a little towel and have him shake, and then it doesn't get it everywhere.
That's a cool command. I feel like every dog has to know how to give paw or like do anything so that way
Right?
it just makes it very easy.
Okay, so do we have any questions from anybody in the audience, Tosca or Tabitha or Alyssa?
I have a question. I want to know, what do you think, Addie? What do you think the pros are of having a program dog? Because we heard from Aspen that she said that the bonding experience was like the biggest one of the biggest pros, if I'm remember correctly, about having a owner trained. What do you think the pros about a program trained dog are?
Well, she's already trained before I meet her. The problem is just, well, not like the problem. We need to work on like bonding, so like playing, and then develop a sense of trust, because that's the only way she's going to be able to guide me, is if I trust her.
Yes.
Tabitha said insightful, thank you.
Thank you.
Tosca, I know usually you have some questions because Tosca is definitely a pet person, a pet lover.
Yes, I am. And I was actually married to a blind guy.
Nice.
The problem was we never had any like actual service dogs.
Right. I actually adopted a blind dog years ago.
Aww.
I had a blind dog too, a blind
Yes.
and deaf dog.
Well, I mean,
Oh,
my
cute.
dog was from rescue, and it was I knew I had taken care of babies that had shaken baby syndrome, and so I knew that blind doesn't mean that you're completely in the dark. It means that you might have some limited sight mobility, and so I figured, well, he's not totally blind and in the dark, so I adopted him, and I said nobody else is going to adopt a special needs dog probably except me. So
How old was it? Well, not how old was your dog? Like, what was your dog's name, if you remember?
Clifford.
Oh, that's
My
cool.
my at the time my 17-year-old was 5, and so she named him Clifford after her favorite TV show.
Aww.
That's cool.
Yeah, and he was a
Very
little min.
creative.
He was a little min pin. So
I also have a question for Aspen. So for the Caesar alert task, how does he alert?
So he originally he would just boot me, but I wanted to train it into a more clear alert, so he
Okay.
uses paw.
All right.
so I have another question for you guys. So Ava found you, I think, both on TikTok, right? So do you share TikTok videos of your service dogs?
Yes.
to create awareness?
Yep.
Very cool. Very cool. And I guess you get quite a few followers. Is that helpful?
Yeah, I have a little over 30,000 followers, and I have had multiple opportunities like this to talk to people and like have outreach and things like that. So it's been pretty
Mhm.
cool.
Cool. All right. What about you, Addie?
So I recently well, I thought I had a good idea by using I think, espresso sound. And it's like, I'm leaving soon to get my guide dog. I used one of
Wow.
those. And for that part, I used my cane. Then for the next part, I transitioned to Ollie. But for the next video, I posted my first time about how I met Ollie.
Aw.
And I want to do a little more. And my YouTube explains a little bit more about my vision and like what I could see a little longer.
Very cool. So if you guys want to put your links into if you head at the bottom and it says chat,
Mm-hmm.
you can put your links into that in the chat. I think my 21-year-old sitting on the other side of me eating dinner in front of me. And she was like, "Oh, get her TikTok. I want to see what it is. I want to see it." So
I don't
she's
know
like, "I
how to
might have
put a
seen her
link
on TikTok. I might have seen
but
her."
I can put my usernames in if that's okay.
Yeah,
That's
that's what I
fine.
did. I
But
don't have the link, but I have my username.
yeah, that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm not a TikToker, so I would just say link. But Tabitha said drop your TikToks. So, I just say I'm old. I say link. So Tabitha knows how to speak it. So I'm gonna just message it to my kids because they were like,
I'm young and I don't have TikTok, so don't feel bad. I have Instagram.
Okay.
I don't have TikTok. But it
All
looks like I'm about to get it. So
uh, yeah. All right, so here. I'm gonna send it to my kids so that they can look it up. And then I can have it later. Yes, Tabitha, TikTok is fun. I'm sure it is. All right.
It is. People like to make dance videos. I'm kind of on TikTok. I kind of post here and there. So
Yeah.
it's kind of nice to post with friends, especially.
All right. And Addie, are you putting your YouTube in or?
YouTube and TikTok. I
Okay.
have Instagram, but I don't know the full username.
No
But it's
problem.
connected to my TikTok.
No problem.
That's okay.
Go ahead and stick it in the chat there. Get down. I know. Get down. See, this is Mama, you have a plate of food over there.
That's so
Aw.
It says you have a plate of food. She says, I'm here. I'm here. I want food.
cute.
Yeah, this is Ziva. You ever watch NCIS?
Hi.
She's named after Ziva
Oh,
Cute.
I love that.
from NCIS. So, yeah, she's all ready to go. And then, and then there's the other one over here.
Aww.
Pay attention to us. I'm surrounded by dogs. All right. So Addie said TikTok. There's her TikTok as well. All right. So I'm going to copy that and send it over to my kids too. All right. All right. All right. Very cool. Any other questions? Because then I know we're at about an hour, so we can wrap it up if we don't have
Yeah.
any other questions. Anything else anybody has? Well, thank you guys. Thank you,
Thank you
ladies,
so much.
I
Thank
so
you.
appreciate you sharing.
Thank you.
I'm
It
gonna
was
hit
nice opportunity.